Are you getting sick and tired of having this reaction every single time you see this screen?
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
How about when you notice there's a brand new event coming up in game and you just want to go ahead and build a deck for it, only to remember you're broke as fuck.
Anyways, I'm gonna go cry in the bathroom. Peace out, homies!
Don't worry, for this Link Festival, I've got the solution for you. This decklist only requires one mandatory ultra rare, and the entire deck's purpose in life is ass blasting your opponent going second. So here's today's deck list. Now just a reminder before I go to the deck list, if you're enjoying today's video and see more content just like this in the future, especially if you're a returning viewer, as apparently about 50% of the people watching this are even subscribed to the channel, then nearly all of you are returning viewers who have seen my stuff before. So if you are enjoying my content and want to see more content just like this in the future, remember to hit that like button down below and consider subscribing to the channel. Alright, let's get into the deck list. So this deck list, as you can see, is extremely free to play. The only mandatory ultra rare you need for this deck list is going to be your Crusadia Avramax. And honestly, you don't actually require this as such, as I think I've only had, 2 games so far where it's actually gotten me a win. You don't really need it all that often, as it's not actually part of your main going second OTK strategy. And every other ultra rare in this deck list that you see on screen is just stuff that you just don't need in the deck list, and most of you probably already own it. I think 99% of the people own the ultra rares I'm showing on screen right now, as everyone has Ash Blossom, everyone has Maxx, everyone has Called by the Grave. If you guys don't, they're probably the first 3 cards you should be crafting when you get the game, as these cards will be in every deck list you'll ever create until the end of time, and the other ultra rares are ones you get from the sale, the other one you get from the sale, and the one you get from story mode. Everything else in this deck list is an ultra rare and is extremely easy to get a hold of. So for those of you that never actually have played Crusadia before, this deck list's entire goal in life is to go second, then link climb as quickly as possible into your Crusadia Equimax. This card gains attack equal to the combined original attack of all monsters this card points to, but monsters this card points to cannot attack. So this basically means if you have a Kaiju in hand, since this card has both a left arrow, a right arrow, and a pointing forward arrow, you can activate your Kaiju, tributing off one of your opponent's monsters, and place this card directly in front of your Equimax. This means this card will gain a billion attack. On top of that, quick effect, you can tribute one Crusadia or World Class monster this card points to, then target one face-up card your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of the turn. Pretty nice little effect, don't have to worry about it too much, as obviously you're trying to kill your opponent basically instantly, so having a nice negate effect, it doesn't particularly matter all that much. As once you get this thing out, you give your opponent a Kaiju, most of the time, they're just dead. And this is all thanks to the fact that one of your Crusadia monsters has a pretty bonkers effect. Once per turn, you can target one Crusadia Link monster you control. This turn, if it battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage it inflicts to your opponent is doubled. Also, other monsters you control cannot attack. So this card, combined with this card, is doing already a ridiculous amount of damage. And pair that with the fact that you're going to have a field spell on field that allows this card to attack every single monster your opponent controls, and it gives your monster an attack boost, yeah, your opponent is just going to be dead. Now rather than just sit here and show you guys every single individual card in this deck list, it's going to be a lot easier to show you how this deck works by jumping straight into the gameplay and showing you the main combo for the deck list. And without further ado, let's get into it. Alright, let's get into this deck's main combo. So this deck's main combo generally only requires 2 Crusadia monsters in combination with a Kaiju. Now you don't always need the Kaiju, as most of the time you just kill your opponent anyway, but the Kaiju makes things a hell of a lot easier a lot of the time. And for this particular variation I'm about to show you, I'm actually going to be using 3 Crusadia cards, just because I think I want to show off the cool interaction between your Arboria and your Reclusia, as they have a cool little interaction with each other that I think a lot of people might miss if I don't show them right now. So let's just say this is a really powerful, annoying monster that I need to get rid of. We can use our Kaiju, make sure to summon it to the zone in front of the extra monster zone, very important, by triggering off our opponent's annoying card. Alright, then we can start our combo. So for this situation, I'm going to summon out my Arboria, then summon it straight into my Magius. Arboria in the graveyard has a nice little effect, which protects your cards from destruction effects. So it could also use Parallel Exceed, by the way, that also makes the combo very easily. Any Crusadia card plus Parallel Exceed also leads to basically the same combo, but in this case, we're going to pretend it doesn't exist just to make things more easier. Alright, now I'm going to summon out my Reclusia. This will give me a search, and it'll also give me a pop of my Reclusia to destroy a card in the field by targeting one of my own cards to destroy their card. Now that I have that card in the graveyard, I can actually protect myself. Blah, blah, blah. He's doing some summoning-y stuff. Doesn't really matter. Good job, AI. Alright, and we're going to use the effects of Arboria and Graveyard to protect my own card to destroy his. So that's a cool little interaction you got going there. And the card you want to search off Magius is normally going to be your Maximus if you don't already have it. If you do, you can search one of the other ones. Normally Draco if you don't have it, but in this case, we already have a Draco. We don't have a Maximus, so we're going to search for that one. Now, if this was the 2-card combo variant, you normally would have summoned out your Draco first, meaning you could have just added back a card to hand, or you'd have summoned out your Maximus first, and then you would have searched for the Draco and added a card back to hand that way. But it doesn't really matter, we're just showing you the this 3-card combo one anyway. So summon out my Regulex next, using the 2 cards on field. And now here's where I'm going to summon out my copy of Draco. This then give you a search for a spell card, and will give you a monster back from the graveyard. So in this case, adding back the Reclusia. Normally the card you want to add back from Draco is going to be the card that you haven't used the special summon yet, but as part of this combination, because we used the Arboreus to pop a card on the field, we've unfortunately got rid of the card we used the normal summon for to summon it, so we can only add back a card we've already used its special summon effect. But normally, keep in mind, you want to add back a card the normal summon used at the start of the turn, because you wouldn't have special summoned that card yet. Alright. Adding the Revival, most of the time, you can add Power if you want to have a quick play spell that makes your card immune to card effects, but in this situation, we just want to OTK our opponent, so we're adding Revival. Alright. Now we're going to link summon off into our copy of Equimax. Alright. And finally, we're going to summon out our copy of Maximus. Giving ourselves a Revival. And here we have a 7,400 attack monster that we can also activate our Maximus to give it the effect that any battle damage it does this turn, well, any battle damage it does to our monster this turn is doubled. So I already have Lethal just swinging this thing straight into this Kaiju, but I also have a nice little field spell that can make this card attack every single one of my opponent's monsters on the board. So essentially, this guy is very, 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 very dead. Now, before I kill my opponent, I just want to quickly mention as well that if somehow my opponent disrupts this little combination here, or they have some way of surviving the turn, maybe they had 1 billion life points or something, you can also use the 2 monsters you have on field now to go into your copy of, well, first of all, summon out a copy of Magius over this card, so you have 2 link monsters, and then you'll be able to summon out your copy of Crusadia Avramax, Avramax. So you have a nice Untitled monster on the field that your opponent can't ever beat over by battle, and it's just a nice little boss monster. That's kind of like your backup plan. That's why I do recommend you craft it, but you don't need it for, obviously, for the OTK combo. Alright, now we go into battle phase, swing into the Kaiju, and our opponent is just dead. Alright, now let's get into some actual gameplay, as now it's probably a bit confusing for some of you, so hopefully the gameplay will just make it a lot easier to understand. Alright, on to our first actual replay. So this one was against, I think, a Marine Cess deck, so we're just going to let him play out his turn. It's actually a very good showing of how good Kaijus are, because this deck list, it is awful against Kaiju. And thankfully, you come across this quite a lot during the event, as it's kind of like the flavor of the month deck, because it's brand new. So, you'll see this deck list a lot, and it's very, very bad against Kaijus, so... Well, our opponent do all his stuff, blah 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 blah. Gets out his card. Searches for... He's probably searched for the hand trap already. Oh no, here it is. Searches for the hand trap. Which requires the link monster on the field to use, so... Yep, here it is. Adds the hand trap, but that requires a link monster on the field. So if we Kaiju it, we actually don't give a flying fuck about it. Alright, now he summons out a spell and trap card in the gate, and he has the thing that makes all his cards unaffected in hand, but thankfully... We've got a Kaiju, so we just get rid of that thing instantly. Summon out the weaker one to his side of the field. And from here, he's pretty screwed. He uses Maxx, but We've got big balls. We're not giving a shit about that. We're just gonna summon through it. And hope he doesn't draw Nibiru. Well, they do have Crusadia Power, so we're kind of immune to it. Alright, so first thing we do is link summon into our Magius, and because we link summon a monster, we can summon out our Parallel Exceed from hand, which gives us a search because we've summoned Slink below our Magius, and gives us a special summon of the other Parallel Exceed from deck. Alright, searching for our Maximus because we didn't have one yet. Now going into our Regulex, summoning out our Leonis, giving us a search for our field spell, activating our Revival, going to Equimax, summoning out our dude to give our thing a double attack, making sure I can hit all of our opponent's monsters. He activates Impermanence, but we're completely safe because we have our Crusadia Power to protect it. And from here, he was about to die, so he just conceded. Alright, on to the next replay. Alright, on to replay number 2. And this one was a little bit less exciting in terms of my opponent's play, as I don't think he got to do anything, he just got Imperm, so unlucky guy. Generally, that's how this deck list works. You can hand trap your opponent, disrupt them a little bit, then Kaiju whatever they have left. That's basically the game plan. And if they're a back row deck, you just pray to God you do your Lightning Storm or your Twin Twister. In this case, try to banish this dude to summon his thing, but we just negate that. And now he has no resources left in graveyard, so things become a little bit rough for him to actually do anything. And he just passes back to me. Alright. So I'm going to Kaiju off his monster once again. We have a Crusadia, and we have yet again Parallel Exceed, so we can just do it like that. Ash Blossom for his Maxx here. Alright, summon my Magius. Summon my Parallel Exceed. Like I said though, remember, you can use a Crusadia card in this card's place. It just happens to be these two replays. I happen to have the Parallel Exceed in hand, but Crusadia monster works just as well. Because you don't actually need the extra summon. That just gives you extra. That just allows you to have more resources to do other things, but the main combo doesn't actually need this extra monster a lot of the time. Alright, summoning out the Maximus. Link summoning off into my Equimax. Then I'm going to special summon out my Kaiju to the field because my opponent has a Kaiju. I made sure to keep the Maximus on field so I can use the effect to double this thing's battle damage. And this thing has a trillion attacks, so my opponent is just, yeah, he's just dead. Alright, on to the final replay. Now, I actually planned for the last one to be the final replay, but I kind of forgot that, I used the Parallel Exceed twice, so I kind of want to show off doing just standard 2-card combo instead of using the Parallel Exceed, so, or 2-card, Crusadia combo, so, yeah. So this one just activated Maxx, which obviously stops your opponent doing a whole lot. Thankfully, let me draw 2 cards, which is kind of nice of him. And we have a Lightning Storm for his annoying back row. Alright, so we're Lightning Storm that real quick. Make sure to get that off the field. And now I can show off the standard 2-card combo for this. So, summon out any Crusadia card, link summon off into your Magius, sort of summon out your Draco. Draco can be searching for your copy of, or adding back the card to hand, and searching for the Maximus, which you don't have yet. Adding back the Maximus. Link summon off into your Regulex. Now I can special summon out the card we added back to hand. That was our normal summon. Link summon off into our Equimax. Now I activate the field spell, summon out the Crusadia. We can actually summon out another copy of a Reclusia as well. Kaiju our opponent's monster, and yeah, he's just dead on board. Alright guys, that's going to do it for today's replays. I hope you guys enjoyed them. If you did, remember to leave a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff, and hope to see you guys in the next one. Laters.
Hey, big brother, can I watch SpongeBob?
Shut up, Mokuba. I'm busy flagging YouTube videos to compensate for the fact that I have an extremely small penis.
Oh.